We negotiate all the time. You've done it today without even realizing it. Maybe convincing your partner to pick dinner, asking your boss for a small favor, or even persuading yourself to get out of bed. But here's the truth. Most of us are negotiating wrong. We think it's about being clever, persuasive, or even manipulative. We picture slick business people with expensive suits, shaking hands over big contracts. But according to Tim Castle, author of The Art of Negotiation, negotiation isn't about dominating someone else. It's about connection, confidence, and calm control. It's about understanding what both sides need and finding a way to make everyone walk away feeling like they won. The first big idea that changes everything is simple but powerful. Preparation is everything. Most people lose negotiations before they even begin because they show up unprepared. They tell themselves they'll wing it, but let's be honest, you can't improvise confidence. Castle says before you ever open your mouth, you need to know exactly what you want, what you're willing to settle for, and when you'll walk away. Think of it like building armor before battle. You wouldn't step into a fight wearing flip-flops. Right, preparation is your protection against pressure. When you know your ideal outcome and your bottom line, you make decisions with clarity instead of fear. Imagine walking into a car dealership saying, "I think I'll just see what happens." That's not negotiating, that's volunteering to overpay. But when you walk in knowing your limits, you instantly project quiet authority. Preparation gives you that edge. It makes you steady, composed, and ready for whatever curveballs the other side throws. Now, here's a move that feels counterintuitive but works like magic: the power of silence. Castle calls this the magic pause. After you've made your offer or stated your point, just stop talking. Don't rush to fill the silence. Don't backpedal. And definitely don't start negotiating against yourself by sweetening the deal before they even respond. Most people panic when silence hits. It feels awkward, like you're supposed to say something to ease the tension, but silence is pressure, and pressure gets results. The other person will often start talking just to fill the gap, and that's when they reveal their real thoughts, limits, or motivations. Say your offer, then stop. Smile, let the silence do the work, because here's a secret. The first person to speak after an offer usually loses leverage. So instead of trying to be the talker in the room, be the listener who makes people wonder what you're thinking. That mystery is power. Another game-changing lesson from Castle is that people don't buy logic, they buy emotion. We like to think of ourselves as rational creatures, but really, we're talking emotion machines who justify our feelings with logic afterwards. So if you go into a negotiation armed with only facts and data, you're missing half the story. Let's say you're pitching a client. Instead of saying, "Our service will increase efficiency by 12.4%. Try painting a picture. Imagine your Mondays without stress, your team finishing projects early, clients thrilled, and you finally heading home on time." You've just shifted from numbers to feelings, and that's what sticks. Castle emphasizes empathy, really listening to what the other person values. When you do that, you stop negotiating positions and start negotiating emotions. And once emotions are aligned, logic follows naturally. In short, people don't remember your numbers, they remember how you made them feel during the deal. Here's a myth-busting idea. The best negotiators don't aim to win, they aim for win-win. Castle says the smartest deals are the ones where both sides walk away feeling respected and satisfied. It's not about beating the other person into submission. It's about creating an outcome that both people believe in. Because every deal you make plants a seed for the next one. You never know when the same person might come back with a bigger opportunity, or when your name will come up in a private conversation where someone asks, "Hey, what's it like working with them?" If you're known as the person who plays fair but still gets results, you become magnetic. People want to work with you when win isn't weakness, it's long-term strategy. Negotiation isn't a what I'm event, it's a relationship builder. And if you treat it like that, you'll win again and again over time. But even with all these tactics, there's one invisible enemy that can sabotage your negotiation before it even begins: fear. Tim Castle says fear is the silent killer of confidence, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish, fear of losing the deal. It makes you shrink when you should be standing tall. And that's when people start accepting less than they deserve. But here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Rejection isn't failure, it's feedback. Every no gives you data about timing, positioning, or the other person's priorities. And sometimes, no just means not yet. The trick is to separate your self-worth from the outcome. Don't make every negotiation about your value as a person. It's just a conversation. The more you practice, the less emotional it becomes. You start to see negotiation not as a fight, but as a dance, one that you can get better at with every step. And here's a bonus truth that Castle swears by: if you don't ask, the answer is always no. It sounds obvious, but most people never even try. They convince themselves the other person will reject them, so they stay quiet and miss opportunities. But confident asking changes everything. When you ask clearly and directly, you send a message that you respect yourself and your worth. Even if you don't get exactly what you asked for, you've shifted the dynamic. You've shown that you're not afraid to play the game. So whether it's asking for a raise, a better deal, or even a small favor, ask boldly, because often people are more willing to say yes than you think. At the heart of the art of negotiation, Tim Castle wants us to understand that negotiation isn't just about getting what you want, it's about becoming who you need to be to deserve it. It's about developing self-belief, patience, and emotional intelligence. Every conversation where you stand up for yourself, where you stay calm under pressure, where you ask for more instead of settling, that's not just negotiation, that's personal growth. So the next time you're heading into a tricky talk, whether it's a salary discussion, a client pitch, or just figuring out where to go on vacation, remember these ideas. Prepare like a pro, use silence to your advantage, speak to emotions, not just logic. Look for win-win outcomes and don't let fear drive the car. Because the art of negotiation isn't about pushing harder, it's about understanding deeper. And once you start mastering that, you'll realize that life itself is just one big negotiation, and the better you get at it, the more rewarding every deal, every relationship, and every opportunity becomes. So go out there, start asking for what you want. And remember, every great deal begins with the courage to start the conversation. And hey, if this gave you a new perspective on negotiation, hit that like button, share it with a friend who could use a confidence boost, and subscribe for more insights from the best books in business and life. Because in the end, the only negotiation you can't win is the one you never start.